BC, what's going on? It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. In the background, I'm listening to Chris Oliver of the Solar System's new solo release called A Collection of Noises and Various Experiments, Volume 1. I know you tend to watch me, Chris, so if you see this, I want to just let people know about your music. I really don't even have the $5 to send you for one right now, but I want to always show you support and eventually buy this. I love what you do. I do. And when I speak of frustration as an artist, sometimes I'm also speaking for you, Chris, as well as other artists who are good, and for whatever odd reason, we can't seem to break through to people's interest, or more people's interest. You know, people claim to be music lovers, and here we are making really fantastic music, and we're wondering what's the problem. Happy Father's Day, though. I do want to recap that on my last video, Friday the 13th, got a lot of good comments. You know, I had a band hangout last night with my new band, Strange Attractors. And the guitar player in the band is kind of old school. Frank Prince. He's a little bit younger than me, but he's really got an old school mentality about music, which is you need to be good. And we got to talking about music and a lot of things. And how did I want to tie? I wanted to tie this in to Chris and. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. You know, it'll hopefully come back to me. I'm a little tired this morning from being at the Faint show last night, but I think really, well, here's what it was. It's like, you know, in the hangout and getting to know Frank better, we were talking about all sorts of things and how Frank was saying how he always avoids religion and politics and that's prudent, and, you know, generally that's true. I was letting him know that here on my channel, I do speak pretty bluntly about what's going on with me. Not that I want to be particularly religious or political, I don't. But those are aspects of life. And I think the thing I was trying to get at is that the comments people are leaving, it appears to me that you folks that have been following me are getting the fact that I'm just sharing what I'm thinking. I'm not looking for an argument. You know, I'm not looking for a chorus of agreements. I do want to know whether or not people think it makes any sense, you know, and if I do want to know other people that think similar to me. I do. I mean, I'm not looking for a bunch of yes men. But with that in mind, I let Frank, the guitarist and the new band I'm in, know that I'll say what I'm thinking, you know, to most anyone, because the only thing that will happen is the person will come back at me with what they think, and that's the only difference there is two different trains of thought. You know, that's all it is. So why not say what you really think is where I'm at, you know? And so that's what I think, think people are getting at that are watching me. It's like when I say things when I'm in moods or I get, you know, caustic or I just have a little rant, I'm just ranting. There's nothing to be corrected or there's no information that really anyone can give me to change how I feel, especially about the goddamn blues. So I really appreciate that it's come a long way. You know, if any of you guys look at any of my older videos and happen to stumble across one where I've mentioned my distaste for the blues and look at the comments, okay, things have come a long way. It's my experience. I'm telling you my experience, and you don't have to like it. But I'm not saying these things to try to personally poke any particular person. So if it pokes you, you know, I think you need to look at that. I do. Father's Day. I don't have any children, and for a time I helped to raise two, David and Sarah. They actually lived here in this house, and for a time this was their room. This room here. I don't know if I'll see any of them today. I might, but you know, I want to be really honest. I always knew as a kid growing up into a teen and looking at families and what my family and women and reproduction, marriage and having a family never interested me. I knew that's not what I wanted. I knew that the music and what I want to do comes first because I felt for my father. I watched my dad And I saw how unhappy he was at times because he had gotten married and had these kids and he couldn't do what he wanted to. And it was real obvious to me as young as 7 and 8 years old that I was in his way. And it's like, so why the hell am I going to do this to somebody else? So when the opportunity came, and it was an opportunity where David and Sarah their family was in a position where they, it wasn't looking good for them. And so I took them in. And that's how that started. And I made a pledge to them and their mom that I would stick by the kids till they were at least 18. And we're still friends. I don't see them much, but David and Sarah in their mid-20s now. I forget, to be honest. I was hoping that I would run into Sarah last night at the Faint show, but it was sold out, so if she was there, I just didn't run into her. But I love David and Sarah like family, and their mom, Terry, I talk to you, Terry, if you watch this on Facebook more than them. But I do understand the gift of parenthood. I also, and it's hard for me to not talk about it without being critical as well as flower-eyed, because there are great numbers of people who have had children, are in the process of having children now, and they don't want the children. So there's a lot of bullshit talk about parenthood that is not backed up by actions by many people. So I applaud and I raise a toast to all parents who actually raise their children and do a halfway decent job of it. And today, especially the fathers. It's probably dirty as hell, but here's a picture of my dad. That's my dad down there with the light skin. That's me in the back with the cheesy ass grin. And those are my two brothers. The one in front looking like some kind of imp. That's my older brother James. Right behind him is my younger brother Pat. This hangs in my room on the wall, so I see my dad every day. He basically committed suicide in, 1990? No, it was sooner than that. I forget, okay? But I will say I will honor my dad because he left. It was a crazy upbringing. My dad was a crazy musician, but the legacy that he left me was so strong on a lot of levels that I honor, respect, and forgive my dad. And some of you other folks know what I mean when I say I also forgive my dad. I bet some of you guys need to do some forgiving too. I want to thank you folks again, and I'm not going to bother with any name shout-outs now because that'll get old real quick. I'm not a Milgram. I'm not a lab rat where you can train me. Not that you're trying to, but I know that people want to hear the names, and I'll do it again sometime. But I think what I want to share is that I'm glad that folks understand where I'm coming from with my thoughts regarding race. I like Peridot's, I think that's the right. See, I'm not really that familiar with Stones, but I agree with what your last comment said was the problem goes so deep we don't have even know where it started when it comes to race. But we need to do something. And me talking about this like this is me trying to do something, okay? It's really unfortunate that most people, and this is a truth, it's a generality, but it's a real generality, that most people are so caught up that they cannot or will not take the time to stop and say, hey, wait a minute, something's really wrong here. And as a collective, we've got to raise our voice to our leaders and the 1%ers who are buck wild out of control, have destroyed the future and tried to take this back. It's not going to happen until that happens. That's why I do this. I could be talking about music, maybe I will, but when I go out into the world every day and I look at how things are going and I look at the news and I see what's going on with war and the leaders and what they're up to, it's like we're well past the time of the average person acting like they don't know what's going on or just saying, oh, everything's just fine. It's not, people. And I'm really thinking of you parents and you dads with new kids. It's like, of course you have the right to enjoy your immediate life, your kids right in front of you. But are you telling me you think there's a future for your child the way things are going now? Especially if you don't actually do something more active, more substantive to rein in the madness of the people with the money and the power. They're completely out of control. There's no human justification for any of the wars and fighting going on now. None. There's no human justification for it. Somebody's going to get something, but that doesn't justify war. Because someone can gain, or because of some sort of historical crap, and that's where I'm at with it now. If you're going to use history as a reason to kill people, what the fuck is wrong with you? So feel me, friends. This stuff is real. It's on my mind. When I'm in the world, it's slapping me in the face. I'm not asleep. And I think I'm going to be bold and say it's time for the rest of motherfuckers to wake up. And I don't mean that negatively. Some of you people understand when I say motherfuckers, I'm saying that with love. It's like, God damn, people, let's go. That's what that means. It's not a slap. It's in a negative way. It's like, haven't you noticed? Like our conversation with the band last night. We got into a lot of stuff. That's why I like Matt Kucera, leader of the band Strange Attractors. His wife is Russian, and she's a psychologist, and she's lived all over the place. They're educated people, and they don't just look sound bites. They are informed, educated people and know things. And we had a wonderful conversation, and we're bringing up stuff that the other cats in the band knew nothing about, yet one of them had all these opinions, but you don't know. Like a lot of people, you don't know what you think you know. People that are watching mainstream television and media in America, and this is your only outlet for news and information, and if this is the way that you've been living your life, you are completely clueless as to the real picture. And that is a real crime. And there's a lot of people who that's their life, is the TV and the radio, or not the radio, the internet, whatever mainstream media tells them, that's the reality. That's dangerous. That's why things are so out of control. That's why the oligarchs don't care, don't even act, they don't even have to act like they care anymore. And then one more thing on this level, because it's serious, guys. What is the rising story in the mainstream media? Because the problem is so bad that the mainstream media can't ignore it anymore. Homeless children worldwide. If that's not more of an indication of the complete hypocrisy and lying, two-faced fuckers that are supposedly guiding our countries and our futures. All these homeless kids everywhere. This story is in the news and not a lot now. You mean to tell me you can hear that story and not put two and two together? That we have, as a people, we are shirking our responsibility. And I like music, but I don't like it to the point that it makes me hide from reality. So I'm not here to help you folks hide from reality and just get lost in your records all the time. Listen to your music and let it give you balance. But we need to be involved, people. We do. I'll go one step further, I really can't imagine I can't imagine anything that someone who doesn't understand this or who disagrees with me, I can't begin to fathom what you could say to me. Why you don't? How is it not more obvious that the world is quite unbalanced? How is it not more obvious that the only game in town is power? How is it not more obvious that the game of power does not include human rights issues? Huh? Is there something to disagree with about that? Because that's really all I'm coming from when it comes to that stuff. When we talk to music, of course I have a big opinion, and of course we're going to have differences there. But when you talk about the health of the planet and the health of the people, and you look at my comments, where I'm coming from, which is concern about me and everybody else, please tell me what there's to disagree with. Please help me understand why it's okay for man to continually kill for profit, and that's literally what he's doing. I'm killing because that's the only way I know how to make money. That's what war is about. And if there's a different perspective on it, you can share that perspective with me. However, the reality is that we're still fighting and killing each other. And I see no justification for it. None. None. I think people are up to no good when it comes to that. This is what's on my mind right now on Father's Day. Okay, to finish up a little bit on music. Last night I went out. I went and see The Faint. No, I didn't buy a ticket because I couldn't. I posted on Facebook on the event page for The Faint about a few weeks ago when it was announced that I'd love to go, but because The Faint are my friends, but I can't afford it. Thank goodness someone I know who I didn't recognize him. He had to tell me at the show last night how we knew each other, but he offered me a ticket. He said, I'll buy you a ticket, and he did. He ended up offering me a ticket to both shows. They played last night and the night before at two different places. I just went to the Saturday night show. Thank you, Chuck Weaver, if you happen to see this. Thank you so much. And it did blow me away when you finally helped me figure out who you were, because I couldn't see it. And then when you told me red hair, it's like, I could hardly believe that was you, Chuck. But The Faint played along with Digital Leather and Reptar. And The Faint was a standout. The other bands are good. I thought Reptar was interesting. They had horns and an interesting funk element. The guitarist is a character. I can't hear the words in the live setting. It appears to me by the way he was singing that his words are important to getting what Reptar is about. So I didn't get that. Digital Leather, I liked them best last night. The best that I've seen them ever was last night. Todd from The Faint is in the band. The Faint just put on a hell of a show. They were really good last night. Their light show and their energy. I have pictures on Facebook, and their dedication to their show and their music really comes through. Thoroughly good. There was a after party. I didn't go. I didn't even stay to the end of The Faint set because I saw what I wanted to see. One of my favorite songs by them is a song called I Disappear, and they played it and they rocked it, and I had a great time. They're playing tonight at the Slowdown for free. They announced it last night. It's a last minute ad for the College World Series. So that's my music bit. I have a couple of records some cheap buys and some things that were given to me, but the things that I was talking about earlier in the video is really what's on my mind right now. Father's Day, and just the fact that it's not business as usual, and I really, really do want to influence and encourage people to more and more, to be on topic, to be on point, so that our leaders, because that's how they get away with this stuff. We're so busy being nice and playing our part that we'd never confront them. And so it just goes on. And if none of us get the guts to become more confrontive, then these monstrous, and I'm just going to call them out, these monstrous fuckers are just going to do what they damn well please, like they're doing now. And our lives will just continue to slide down in the shitter like they are now. What have you got? What have I said when it comes to that's incorrect? What's there to disagree with? You know? Are you one of them? Happy Father's Day.